Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. It's again a pleasure to host fellow MVP, his Prashant. And unfortunately, because of the scheduling conflict, he's staying up pretty late in the night. So thank you, Prashant, for making time. I know it's pretty late in the evening for you. So thanks a lot. And over to you, all yours.
Thank you, Setu. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. Uh, all right, let me adjust few things and we can get started. Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on your time zone. The title of this talk is Introduction to AI and Cognitive Services for the Microsoft 65 developers and information workers. So even if the title says Microsoft 65 developers, even if you are not using Microsoft 65 and you are just a developer, that's okay. Uh, so who am I? My name is Prashant G. Boyer. I was born and raised in India. I came to United States back in 2007. I'm University of Maryland College Park alumni. I co-authored a book, PowerShell for Office 65. I also acted as a technical reviewer for the book Pro SharePoint 2013 Administration. I am from Washington DC area, and pre-COVID-19 pandemic, we used to organize a lot of in-person conferences in and around Washington DC. After COVID pandemic has started, we have converted all our conferences to virtual only. So if you are interested, we have multiple meetups on various technologies. So feel free to check us out on meetup site, and if you are interested, you can join us for the future conferences. I am recipient of Antarctic Service Medal, and also I'm recipient of Microsoft MVP Award. So those of you who are not familiar with this award, I don't work for Microsoft. It's just the additional recognition that Microsoft gives out to the folks who does technical contribution in various product categories. And your technical contributions can be in the form of speaking at conferences, writing blogs, providing direct feedback to the Microsoft product group, or answering people's questions on various public forums. And this award is valid only for 12 months. And after every 12 months, you have to apply for renewal. And if you get renewed, then you get this awarded for additional 12 months. So for first couple of years, I was an MVP in Office 65, especially in SharePoint. And since 2019, I changed my category to AI. Right now, I work as a senior solution architect at Witham. Witham is an advisory tax and accounting firm, and we have headquarter in East Coast in Washington, in USA, especially in New Jersey, and we have offices throughout the US in California, in Boston, in Orlando, and in Washington D.C. And recently, we opened office in Bangalore, India, as well. And I focus on intelligent business process automation, where I use variety of the products and services in Microsoft ecosystem, like Azure AI, bots, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Power Platform, and Microsoft 65 and SharePoint. And as I mentioned, I'm from Washington DC area, and I work at Witham's Washington DC office. So this is the quick information about our company. We have two Microsoft MVPs on the staff. We have done 100 plus Microsoft cloud deployments. We have 50 plus consultants dedicated to Microsoft ecosystem only. And we are providing services in Microsoft ecosystem from last 17 years. So these are various capabilities that we have. And we are actively hiring in US location as well as in Bangalore, India location. So if you know someone who's looking for a change and have skill set in Microsoft 65, Azure, Power Platform, testing, definitely reach out to me. So as I mentioned, you can check us out regarding the future event by going to this various groups we have on our meetup site. So this is going to be a 100 level and introductory session. So we'll start with approach. We will start with what is AI, what is machine learning, what is Microsoft Cognitive Services, how to get started. We will have lots of demos, key takeaways, and Q&A. So regarding question, feel free to post your questions on the YouTube live. I am using dual monitor, so I can monitor your questions every now and then. Now let's take a pause and then talk about why this session, like why we should invest our time to learn about AI. So I personally think because of all the advancement that is happening in computation, the tech industry in general is focusing on using AI in business application. So you may be hearing a lot of news or a lot of coverage around driverless car. The reason we can have driverless car now because we have a computation to support that. And I personally think the AI ML space is at the same state when mobile development was when iPhone 1 was launched. If you go back 13 years, 2007, when Apple introduced iPhone 1, very few companies were writing applications for mobile devices that time. Uh, Fast forward 13 years, pretty much all the big corporations, all the product development companies will make sure that the product work on mobile devices. Like we are now living in the mobile first era. So similarly, in next 2 3 years, AI and ML will be the mainstream. That means if I'm a project sponsor, I would like to make sure that the product or in any enterprise initiative will definitely leveraging AI and machine learning in it. And these are the statistics and these are quite old statistics from holiday season of 2017 where Amazon sold millions of Alexa devices. Now Alexa is nothing but a voice based bot from Amazon. Similarly, we have Google Home from Google, Cortana from Microsoft, and in enterprise space we have IBM Watson from IBM. So the shift we have seen in the industry is if something gets popular in people's personal life, sooner or later you will find those same kind of devices getting used in the corporate world as well. Like the smartphone or iPhone is really good example. So when Apple launched iPhone 1, people started using smartphone and iPhones for their personal lives, and sooner or later, without we even noticing it, those devices enter the corporate world as well. So if you join a company now, you are expected to carry a smartphone and you are expected to get your work, some kind of work done using smartphone. So same thing will happen with devices like Alexas or Google Home or Cortanas, where if millions and millions of people get comfortable using these devices at home, sooner or later you will see these devices sitting at your desk, and you as a developer, you as a power user, you as a business analyst, or you as a data scientist, they need to know how to use these devices and how to get your a job done. And another key thing that has expedite the adoption of AI and machine learning is you don't need to be a data scientist to use AI and some of the AI as a services these days. Now, if you ask any data scientist, he will tell you upfront that data science is very hard trade to master. You have to go through years and years of training. You need to learn stats. So it's not like everyone's cup of tea. But what these big corporations have done, like the big corporations like Microsoft, Google, IBM, Amazon, is they have launched something called AI as a service, where you don't need to understand the data science part of it as long as you know how to use that service. The analogy I can give you here is if you have done any kind of web development, then you may have heard about the popular JavaScript frameworks like Angular or React. Now, to use this framework, you don't need to know how these frameworks got built from the ground up. All you need to know is how to use this framework and and then get your application built. The same thing with AI as a services, where you don't need to know what goes behind, as long as you know how to use those service and infuse intelligence in your application. Now, cognitive services is AI as a service from Microsoft. Similarly, we have IBM Watson from IBM. We have Google services from Google as well, and services from Amazon and some other vendors as well. So the approach, so this session is geared towards a non-data scientist, and the target audience is developers, IT pros, and power users. Now let's talk about what is AI, because setting the level of expectation whenever you are talking about using AI in corporate world is very important. So AI, so this is the general definition, and this definition I got from AI researchers at Google. The AI is nothing but the effort to automate intellectual tasks normally performed by humans. Now, AI is not new to the humanity. Like we as a human society is using AI since World War II, but since now we have a sophisticated infrastructure which supports a really good machine learning machine learning models. That's why we are seeing a lot of buzz or hype in the media. So if we had to categorize AI, we can categorize AI into three categories. One is the strong AI, where machines are so powerful they can invade other planets, they can destroy other planets, they can travel across galaxy. Now strong AI right now only exists in science fiction movies and novels. The second hierarchy is artificial general intelligence, where machines are machines are very intelligent, and they can perform really complicated tasks which are difficult for average human being. Again, the example is, if you have seen Iron Man, Marvel Comics franchise called Iron Man. So in that, there is a main character, Tony Stark. He has a personal assistant called Javris. Now Javris is very intelligent. He can perform really really complicated tasks which are difficult for average human being. uh, Again, AGI right now exists only in science fiction movies and novels. Where we are right now is we are at weak AI, where we have specialized services for specialized tasks. So one of the service that you are seeing on the screen is, so I am speaking in English, and real time using one of the AI services, we are converting my speech into the text, and while outputting the text, we are using one of the languages spoken in China. So similar services we have right now, and these are the various terms you will be hearing whenever you reading the literature or watching the content on AI, like the deep learning, the image recognition, the machine vision, the speech, the natural language processing. So from here onwards, all the contents I will be covering is dedicated to Microsoft ecosystem only. So this is the mission statement from Microsoft, where they want to make data science and AI accessible to every developer, data scientist, developer, information worker, consumer, and devices anywhere in the world. And they are really working hard towards this mission statement. So some of the services you will see that came out from Microsoft in last 2 years, you will see that to use those AI as a service, you don't need to understand any data science or machine learning. It's really easy to use these services. So when it comes to AI, so the core AI services in Microsoft are part of Azure AI. So if you ask me, and if you had to divide Microsoft into three groups, we can easily divide into Azure group, Power Platform group, and productivity or Microsoft 365 group. So the core services of the AI are part of Azure AI, and the groups in Microsoft 365 and the group of Power Platform basically use the same services that we have in Azure AI. So under apps and agent, we have Azure Bot Service and Azure Cognitive Services. Under knowledge mining, we have Azure Cognitive Search. And under machine learning, we have Azure Databricks, Azure Machine Learning, and Azure AI infrastructure. All right, looks like it's not going forward. Oh, it paused. Okay. So if you are interested in learning more about the AI, so these are the different links you can follow depending which product you would like to learn. Like if you are interested in cognitive services, you can go to the azure.com/cognitive. If you are interested in bots, you can go to azure.com/bots. If you would like to learn the tutorials on data science and machine learning, you can go to aischool.microsoft.com. There is one more site that I didn't mention here called edx.org, where you will see a lot of good tutorials from major corporations and also leading educational institutions as well, which you can take for free. And if you would like to get certificate, you just have to pay some nominal fees to them. So if you are totally new to machine learning and AI in Microsoft ecosystem, this is the flow chart you can follow. So when to use what? If you would like to build your own machine learning model, then Azure Machine Learning is for you. And depending on where you would like to build your model and deploy, you have multiple options available. If you are like me, who's more interested in consuming what is out there, then cognitive services and bots are for you. Now let's talk about the bots in Microsoft ecosystem. So if you are interested rolling out or use or creating bots in Microsoft ecosystem, we have two options available. One is the platform as a service, and second is software as a service. So under platform as a service, we have Microsoft Bot Framework, which is an open source SDK and tools, and its purpose is for building custom bots. The target audience for Microsoft Bot Framework is developers, uh, and one of so right now 4 major languages are supported. You can create custom bots using C Sharp, Node.js, Java, and Python. However, if you would like to deploy your bots to Azure Bot Service, then right now only C Sharp and Node.js is supported. That means if you use Java or Python, then you need to deploy that bot in your own web host. This is the link you can go and find more information about Microsoft Bot Framework. Under software as a service, we have Power Virtual Agent, which provides you a no-code experience for a bot development. It's ideal for business users and domain expert to easily build a bot. And under the hood, it uses a Microsoft Bot Framework, but you as a developer or you as a user don't need to know what's happening in the backend. And you can go to this particular link to sign up for the free trial and try creating bots. There is another offering Microsoft recently announced called Microsoft Dataverse for Teams. It's a low-code data platform for exclusively for Microsoft Teams. It supports to build low-code and no-code apps, flows, and chatbots that will work only within Microsoft Teams. Uh, One of the key advantage of going with this tool is this Microsoft Dataverse for Team is already part of your existing Teams license. That means you can create chatbots using Power Virtual Agent for free as long as you have valid Teams license. So I'll definitely recommend you, like if you are using Microsoft Teams in your organization, I will definitely recommend you to go to this link and see if you can create chatbots using Power Virtual Agent for free or not. Now let's talk about machine learning. Like what is machine learning? Machine learning is basically it examines large amount of data and we look for the patterns. And once you find the pattern, you generate the code, and using that code, you can find identical patterns or similar patterns in the new set of data. So the basic idea of machine learning is making better prediction and make creating a smarter application. So this is the high level flowchart you can of the machine learning. So you will have a data like unstructured data, and your data will have some patterns. Then you will use machine learning algorithm of your choice, which will help you to identify the pattern in the data. Once you identify the patterns, you will generate a model, and then your model will help you to recognize the pattern in the new set of data. And then you will use your model in the application, and to your application you will feed the new set of data. Now one thing you have to keenly observe here is, so the top part is all a data science part, but this one, like even if you have really good machine learning model, you still need to plug that model or integrate that model to an application so you can create intelligent solution from it. So that means even if you have a smartest data scientist in your team, you'll always have a need to have a developers who can create intelligent applications build using the machine learning algorithm that your data scientist will be using or creating. So these are the commonly used machine learning algorithms are there, like the regression, decision tree, neural network, then Bayesian and K-means. And if you are interested, you can go to this Microsoft cheat sheet and find more information about each and every commonly used machine learning algorithms that are out there. So now let's talk about cognitive services. So before we jump into cognitive services, let me know if you have any questions. As I mentioned, I can monitor. I'm monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions or anything is not clear, feel free to post that so that I can answer in answer and so can I answer it. So cognitive services are AI as a services from Microsoft, and it basically helps you to add human edge to your application. There are a variety of cognitive services available, but in reality, cognitive services are nothing but REST-based API. So as long as you know how to consume REST-based API, you can infuse intelligence in your application. Uh, all you need is the endpoint URL of a specific cognitive services and the subscription key. And cognitive services are flexible. That means you can use cognitive services with any language and any platform of your choice, provided that language and that platform allows you to consume REST-based API. That means you can use C Sharp, you can use Node.js, Java, Python, uh, Go language. There are multiple language and any other language which allows you to consume REST-based API. Now, not many people know, but Microsoft is doing phenomenal job in the research field from last 20 years. And some of the cognitive services, the underlying machine learning models that get used are actually product of the Microsoft research. Uh, you will find the quality documentation on these cognitive services and machine learning models on GitHub. If you have any question, you can always post the question on Stack Overflow, and the people from Microsoft as well as from the community will monitor that and give you the answer in record time. And if something is missing, you can always request that feature via going to the user voice. So if the cognitive services are nothing but the REST-based API, then where can we use them? So you can use, okay, looks like my PowerPoint just crashed. Okay. So you can use in any application that can consume a REST-based API. That means if you're a developer, you can use in JavaScript application, console application, .NET application, Java-based application, iOS application, Node.js, Logic apps. If you are a power user or if you don't want to write a code, then you can still use cognitive services with Microsoft Flow, SharePoint Designer 2013, which allows you to consume REST-based API. However, this product is deprecated, so I don't recommend using that. Then other third-party products like WinAutomate, UiPath, Blue Prism, Nintex, K2, WebCon, etc. Like as long as that product allows you to consume REST-based API, you should be able to use cognitive services with that product. Now, let's talk about some of the practical applications we can build using the cognitive services. So we can so this practical application we are already familiar with in our personal life, like the spam and fraud detection. If you are a customer of a major credit card company like the Citibank or HSBC Bank, and without notifying your credit card company, if you went overseas and start shopping around, and let's say you did 10 transactions within a span of 1 hour, suddenly you may get a call, a text message, or email from your credit card company notifying that okay, some unusual activity is happening. The reason they can do that because they have sophisticated machine learning algorithms or models that are running in the backend. Whenever you apply for a loan, a financial loan, most of the big corporation, the first decision is always taken by the machine learning models, and after that, a loan officer will get assigned, and then they will take the next, and then they will take the next course of action on that one. Recommendation engine, which one to choose, it's very common these days, especially if you are using e-commerce site for shopping, or you're watching content on YouTube or on Netflix or on Amazon Prime, where depending on your history, depending on your likes, you will get recommendation. And again, these companies can do that because they have sophisticated machine learning algorithms that are running in the backend. The aircraft companies use this for predictive maintenance. The machine learning and AI gets used in optical character recognition as well. It's getting used in natural language processing, machine translation, and autonomous system as well. So where can we use now in enterprises? Like that's the big question a lot of people have. So right now, with all the services that are available to us, we can come up with a lot of practical applications in the enterprises. If your company is big in staffing, or you have more than, let's say, 20,000 employees, then you can, uh, and if you have a historical data on what kind of training your employees have taken, for how long and how much it used to cost, You can use machine learning model to give you recommendation on training needs, on resourcing needs. If your company is big on internal workflows, and if you have sophisticated data from the previous workflows, you can also use that to generate machine learning model, which you can give you suggestion on process improvement. Some of the third-party vendors in Microsoft ecosystem already have similar services where they are using machine learning model to just give you the suggestions on how you can improve your workflow, how, like, why some particular step is taking, let's say, more time than required, and how you can tweak that. Text analysis, there are lots of use cases, or practical use cases are there right now, where if your company is in the product development, you can use text analysis to quickly find out the product reviews, like how are the reviews, what are some of the things that people are talking about. This is case and document classification. I think this particular this particular example applies to majority of the corporations. Like, I have seen a lot of corporations, especially if they are in the business from last 10 years, where they have tons and tons of documents sitting in their legacy file share, which they don't know, we don't have time to go through the documents and classify them properly. There you can use text analysis or AI services to quickly scan the content, tag it properly, and then also organize them properly. Social media analytics, we can use their intellectual property, plagiarism check, and sentiment analysis as well. So with that, let's go to the demo of the cognitive services. And again, as I mentioned, feel free to ask your question in the chat window. So if you are not familiar with cognitive services, what I recommend you is use your favorite browser and favorite search engine, and just search for Microsoft cognitive services. And the link we are looking for is this one, cognitive services API for AI developers. And on this link, scroll down. Like, on the top of the page, you will see information about what cognitive services are. But scroll down, and you will see the cognitive services divided into 4 categories. Like, by default, you'll be seeing decision. Then there is a language, speech, and vision. So under decision, we have anomaly detector, content moderator, metrics advisor, and personalizer. Under language, we have immersive reader, language understanding, Q&A maker, text analytics, and translator. Under speech, we have speech to text, text to speech, speech translation, speaker recognition. And under vision, we have computer vision, custom vision, face, form recognizer, and indexer. So if you are interested in any of this cognitive service, all you have to do is go to individual services. So for example, if I'm interested in text analytics, I'll just click on the text analytics and then find more information about that. So here, if you scroll down, you get the description of this service, what exactly this service is going to do. And then for some of the services, Microsoft has provided us a sample application. So earlier we could use to play with the sample application, but now looks like they have blocked that. So the way the sample application work is, on this left hand side, you have this box where the text is written, and this text has been sent to the text analytics API. And in this box in the right hand section is actually the result from the text analytics API. So the API can tell you what kind of language this text is written, which is, in this case, is English, and the confidence score is 100. What are some of the key phrases? What's the sentiment? Sentiment means if a statement is positive or negative. If the statement is positive, that means the sentiment score will be towards 100%. If the statement is negative, then the score will be towards 0% or 1%. And if you scroll down, you will see the name entities, pin entities, PI entities, and link entities as well. Now, in case if you're interested in the computer vision, so you can go to the vision and go to the computer vision page. Again, similar to text analytics, you will see the description of the service, and you may also see the samplification that you can play with. So looks like this one is still we can play with. So right now we have this on the right hand side or left hand side the image, and in this particular box we have, like, so this image has been sent to the computer vision API, and here in the right hand section we have the response that came back from the computer vision API, where it came back with the tags like that the picture has strain in it, and it's pretty much 100% confident that it has strain in it. Then the platform, it's 100% pretty much 100% confident. Station also close to 100%. It is indoor. The subway, then clothing, person pulling. So all these kind of tags are coming back, and in this application you can use a publicly available URL, or you can also upload the image from your machine to quickly find out tags about that. So let's say if you are interested, you like what you saw, then on each individual cognitive services, you will find the detailed documentation that you can use, like how you can get you'll see some code samples, you'll see information about the pricing, and other like what are some of the companies that are using it, and some of the FAQs as well. And to use this cognitive service, you need to have Azure subscription. Like that's the thing. To use, you need to have valid Azure subscription. Without that, you cannot use those. All right. Now let's talk about the text analytics API. So text analytics API help us to analyze unstructured text for task. It helps us to detect language, to extract key phrases, to do sentiment analysis as well. And it uses advanced natural language processing. And you can go to this link to find more information about the text analytics API. So this is the endpoint URL is going to be for your text analytics API. So it will be whatever the name of the text analytics app you select, then slash text slash analytics slash the current version, which is 3.0. And then slash key phrases slash language, if you have to do it language, slash sentiment. And if you would like to get the entities, then it will be slash entities slash recognition slash general. So with that, I will be showing you a demo now, and I will be showing you example, like 2 or 3 example. Like first example will be how a power user can consume this text analytics API and build some practical application. Then second example will be for developers. So the design is very simple. We will have a form which is built in SharePoint, where the user will enter the comment. Then we will be using text analytics API to capture the key phrases, in what language the comments are written, and it will also capture the sentiment score as well. So with that, oops, I stopped the presentation. Okay. With that, let me show you the form. So here I'm using SharePoint, but you can use any other a system where you can capture the input. So this is just a form where if I click new, then I'm filling a form where I will be entering some comments. So I have some predefined text. Let me quickly that up so you can save some time. Okay. So let's call it as Global AI Bootcamp Singapore 2021. And the comments are Setu, Priyanka, and rest of the organizers of this bootcamp are doing really amazing job in making sure there are no technical difficulties, and also the event is running very smoothly. And I will deliberately keep sentiment score, language, and key phrases empty right now. And I will just click and just submit the feedback. Now, once this feedback is submitted, we are using something called Power Automate, which is one of the service available in Power Platform. It is kind of used for automation where you do something and it will have a trigger and then something will happen. So moment we save this feedback, the Power Automate will kick in the back end. It will call the text analytics API, and whatever the result will be, it will then add that to, let's say, regarding sentiment, it will update sentiment score, language, it will update in the under language, and key phrases, it will update under key phrases. So let me quickly refresh this page and see if the background Power Automate have a run has a run or not. All right. So so the Power Automate has run. So sentiment score is close to 100% or 1.0. Then the language came back as EN, as that is English, and the key phrase came as a Setu. All right, that's interesting. Now let's see its implementation. So for that, I'm going to .microsoft.com, and here what I have done is I have created three flows, three different flows. You can combine the same business logic in one, but just for the sake of the demo, I have created three flows here. And once the page loads, I'll show you. And one of the reasons some of the pages are loading slow on my machine is I'm using this machine to stream the session live, and I'm using a UI or browser-based application. Sometimes that has a tendency to consume a lot of resources from the machine. So if I go to shared with me, and then okay, so these are the three flows I have. One is for to detect the sentiment, second is for to detect language, and third is to extract the key phrases. All right, it's taking more than usual time. All right, let me go to the edit now. And this is a good time. If you have any question, feel free to post those questions in the chat window. Okay, all right. So while this is loading, what we'll be doing in time is I will be going to, looks like it loaded. So the implementation is very straightforward. So this particular flow will start whenever we submit a new feedback. Then we are using an action which is detect sentiment. And if I expand this, so what we are doing is we are passing the comments that the user is entering to this particular thing, and then this comments getting passed to the text analytics API. So let me double click and show you the implementation. So all we are doing is in the text, we are just providing the name of this particular uh, a field where the comments, and then we are passing those comments to the text analytics API. And the way you can configure the text analytics API for this action is you click on these three dots here and you click on add new connection. And that's where in here you will configure the connection to your text analytics API. And so far we haven't done that. So as I mentioned, you need to have Azure subscription to do that. So let's first go to Azure and the text and so let's say you like what you like to you play with text analytics API. You can click on this button where you can start free, where you can sign up for the free trial account of the Azure. If you already have the account, what you can go is you can just go to your Azure portal. And then here you can create the text analytics app. Now text analytics app has multiple options. You can create a free, you can use the free tier as well, which I highly recommend if you are doing testing this out for the first time. So let's click on create a new resource. Let's search for the text analysis, text analytics. This is the resource we're looking for, called Text Analytics by Microsoft. Then click create. And then here provide all like if you have used Azure, then you may be familiar with this UI. Provide the subscription, then provide um, uh, the adequate resource. Then region important because you should be using the region which is closest to your geographical location. And one of the things you have to keep in mind is so all these cognitive services, out of all these cognitive services, few of them may give you different results depending on your region, especially the cognitive services which are related to the vision and videos. So here I will be, since I'm from East Coast of US, I will go with East US 2. Then I can give it a name. So let's call it as Global AI Boot Camp Singapore 2021. And then pricing tier, as I mentioned, you can go with the free tier, uh, or you can go and or if you would like to really test in the production setting, then you can go with other paid tier as well. And the next thing you have to do is just click on review and create, and this particular uh, text analytics app will get created for you. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that because I have already created a one. So I'll quickly go to that and show you its properties. So if I go here, so click on the overview here. And this will be your endpoint. So let's copy that, and then your corresponding endpoint URLs will be, I'm just opening pad now. Okay, let's move it here. Okay. Okay. So this will be the URL, and the next thing you will need is your keys. So make sure you're not sharing your keys with anyone, because let's say if I know your endpoint URL and your key, I can make calls on your behalf, and then you have to basically pay for it. So a couple of things you will need is endpoint URL and the key. And if you are consuming this text analytics API using the custom code, then your endpoint URL be in this format. So let me put this on the screen, which is, sorry. Okay, perfect. So in our case, for the language, it will be the app URL and then text slash analytics slash version 3.0 slash language. Similarly, for key phrases, it will be key phrases. For sentiment, it will be slash sentiment. All right. So once you have that, so we can give it a name as global, like whatever name you would like to give. In this case, is going to be global AI bootcamp. Then your subscription key and your URL of your text analytics app. And once you add that, then you can make calls. And then if the call is successful, then whatever the sentiment score that will come back, you can use that sentiment score in the further processing of in your flow. So in this case, what I'm doing is whatever the score is coming back, I'm actually adding that back, updating that particular feedback with that score. Same thing we are doing with the language here, and same thing we are doing with the key phrases as well. So this was very simple implementation of using cognitive services without writing a single line of code. The next demo I have is using the custom code. So here what I have done is, let me pull up the source code real quick. What I have done is, so here I will be showing you the demo using the C#. And again, you can use uh, any other language as long as that language allows you to consume the REST-based API. So as soon as the Visual Studio starts, I will show you. So the way the application is, I have written a console application which will go to a specific folder on my machine. It will read the content of the documents inside the folder. Then it will send those contents to the text analytics API, and whatever is the response, it will just spit out that on the console. And the couple of files that we'll be using are this one. So let me pull that up real quick. Okay, let me open the second one as well. And in the meantime, while I'm opening this, let me see if there are any questions. Okay. So the first file that we have, let me move that to the second monitor. So here the contents are very simple. I have just three sentences. Cognitive services are awesome, Microsoft is awesome, and AI is awesome. And second document, what I have is, I have a statement, let's make USA great again. I have image of my team members, and also I have some text in the column, in the table format. This is just to show you that even if the contents are in different format, it's okay. And now let me pull up this complete console application here. Let me quickly run through this. Now, let me show you the helper. Okay. So if you can see on line number 26, 28, and 29, so these are going to be the point URL for sentiment analysis, key phrase, and the language, where name of the app or URL of the app slash text slash analytics slash version 3.0 and slash individual endpoint. So here what I have done is I have created a function and I have added a NuGet package for the cognitive services. Again, if you don't know, you can easily go to, like, once you create this text analytics app in Azure, you can go to the Azure portal and under resource management, click on the quick start. And here you will see the step-by-step tutorial on how to consume this text analytics API using various programming languages like the C Sharp, the Python, Node.js, Go, Ruby, etc. So let me quickly go through this, like debug through this real quick, so I can show you the output from the text analytics API. Again, I apologize for the slowness of my machine. Since we are running the streaming, my machine is not able to handle the current load. So it's going a little bit slow than usual. Okay, the debugging has started. Let me step through the breakpoints. So I'm not going through individual line by line. I'm just stepping through the code and I'll show you the final output that's getting displayed on the console real quick. Okay. All right. So we made 3 calls. First call was related to the sentiment score. And as you can see, so this is the call for the sentiment score. As you can see, the sentiment came back for individual sentences. So most of the sentiment were like pretty much positive, like 1.0. Like regarding the key phrases, sorry. The first document, the key phrases came as cognitive services, Microsoft, and AI. In the second document, the key phrase came as US election, USA great. And when it comes to the language, both the documents, the language came as English, and the confidence score was pretty much 1.0. That means 100%. So this is a quick and easy way you can use the text analytics API inside a console application, where this is one of um the practical usage where you can use the text analytics API app to quickly scan the contents of your documents, and then depending on the language, depending on the key phrases, then you can quickly move to a proper location, or you can add some tags to it, so you can later on take a decision where to move and where to store or where to delete, or whether to delete or not. Okay. The next thing is, we covered this. So what we saw is, so one of the key thing you had to remember regarding cognitive services is, so while creating these cognitive services, Microsoft has used a generic data set to train these services. And sometimes it may happen, the response or the results that are coming from these cognitive services, you may not be happy with it. Or there may be some cases where you would like to create your own model, and you would like to test, you have to train that model on your own data set. If that's the case, then Azure Machine Learning is for you, which is a fully managed cloud service from Microsoft, which allows you to create, build, and deploy the machine learning models in cloud. And another key thing is you can deploy your model as a web service. That means if you have a really good team of data scientists, then data scientists can use the Azure Machine Learning to create the machine learning model, deploy that as web service, and then developers can then come in and then consume that web service into the custom applications. So I'm not going to do the demo of this one because I think we don't have that much time left. So in the beginning, while talking about the bots, I did mention about Power Virtual Agent, and I also mentioned about Dataverse for Teams. And if you have Dataverse for Teams, that means you can create chatbots using Power Virtual Agents for free. So there is a really good program from Microsoft called Microsoft 365 Developer Program, where if you go to this link and sign up for this program, you can get your personal Microsoft 365 subscription for free with the E5 license, and it will come with 25 users, and this subscription will be good for 90 days. And using this subscription, you can play with Power Platform products, you can play with SharePoint, you can play with Teams, and you can also use Dataverse for Teams to create chatbots for free using Power Virtual Agent. I definitely recommend you to go to this program and create your own tenant. And if you use this tenant for your personal training and development, Microsoft will graciously increase your trial period after 90 days to additional 90 days. So they will keep continuing it as long as you're using this tenant for development and testing. I'm personally using the tenant through this program from last 1.5 years. You can also spin up a trial tenant by going to the products.office.com. However, to do that, you need a credit card. Now, to use cognitive services, you need Azure subscription. So there are multiple ways where you can get personal Azure subscription. The recommended one is to MSDN. So if you have MSDN subscription, then go to MSDN portal and activate your personal Azure subscription, where depending on the type of subscription, you may get $150 per month or $100 or $50 per month.